Welcome to our Aging Puzzle. I am your host, Corlette DeVoe. Our show is about aging and how it affects all of us. We will have one-on-one conversations with guests from all walks of life that have been impacted by life and aging. Now, it doesn't matter if they're young, the middle-aged, or if they're seniors, we are going to bring the inspiring stories to you. We want to share everything with you, and we hope that you're going to enjoy our show as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. We are going to share stories that will make us laugh, cry, inspire us, just kind of sharing valuable insights about various topics. We are going to share with you tips on living longer and living better. We enjoy bringing the show to you every week, and we want to inspire you all, and we hope that you enjoy this show that will bring some inspiration to someone out there in the world. This month, it's truly an honor to bring to you a story that is truly going to be inspiring. This month, we are going to focus on sickle cell disease. And I have the honor and privilege to introduce our very special guest, Mr. Anthony McPhee. Anthony is an extraordinary individual who has faced and conquered challenges of living with sickle cell disease for astonishing 52 years. And his journey is a testament to the strength of a human spirit and the power of resilience in the face of adversity. Anthony's life story is one that is truly remarkable and encouraging, and determination and unwavering optimism that he has displayed and is still going through, y'all, is going to bring tears to your eyes and also provide hope to someone out there that may be dealing with sickle cell disease as well. Now, throughout the decades, Anthony has been managing all types of complexities and challenges with this condition, but he has also used his experience to inspire and support others in the sickle cell community. Remember, every month we are going to have one guest, and that one guest is going to share their story week after week. And Anthony, dear Anthony, will be here with us for the entire month. Now, the first week, remember that we always talk about the big reveal. How did they hear the news? What happened? How did they tell their family? That's week one. Week two, remember we talk about treatment options. Week three, we always talk about the actual treatment. How was it? Was it effective? How are you doing? How did you do? Side effects. And the last week, we talk about how they're doing today. Real time. How are they doing today? So stay with us. Join us week after week to hear the story of Anthony McPhee, who is dealing with sickle cell disease. Now, he was diagnosed with sickle cell disease, but because of his strong faith and love for Jesus Christ, our Father, Heavenly Savior, he is working through this, and he is claiming healing because of his faith. Now, you're going to hear a story, and you're going to see that he truly is a man of faith and an inspiration to all. Now it's time for Aging Facts. When it comes to the never-ending work of taking care of ourselves, yes, we have to take care of ourselves. And you know what? We tend to ignore the little aches and the pains as much as the big ones. But guess what? If those small aches and tiny pains were direct indicators, they may be the sign of a major medical issue. So, take care of yourself. You know, as it turns out though, chronic inflammation is a major health concern for elderly people as they age. In fact, this issue is so common among seniors and so damaging that experts have coined a term for it: inflammaging. Inflammation is the body's natural defense mechanism against perceived threats like infections or injuries. Now, however, chronic inflammation can arise from various sources, including environmental factors, biological challenges, chronic stress, obesity, autoimmune disorders, and even emotional burdens like depression or caregiving stress. This persistent inflammaging poses a substantial risk to aging-related conditions such as heart disease, arthritis, depression, Alzheimer's disease, and some cancers, because the immune system remains heightened all the time. It remains at a heightened state of stress. So we have to figure out how to reduce inflammation, control our stress, so we can live longer and live better. Now, recognizing the symptoms of chronic inflammation is crucial, as they can signal an exhausted immune system. Common symptoms include like stomach pain, chest pain, fatigue all the time, fevers, joint pain, stiffness, mouth sores. Those are some symptoms of chronic exhausted immune system. Chronic inflammation can be difficult to diagnose sometimes though, because if you've been dealing with it for so long, you become used to it. You have a prolonged nature and it links to many illnesses, so we have to pay attention to chronic inflammation. We have to take care of ourselves, and we have to reduce our stress. Addressing chronic inflammation can involve lifestyle changes, such as the same thing I say every single week. Diet, avoiding certain foods, actually like red meat, white bread, fried foods, and sugary drinks. You gotta cut those things out. They're really not good for us. You can focus on a diet that's rich in green leafy vegetables like fruits, nuts, fatty fish, and olive oil. Those are kinds of foods that we should be eating to help us stay healthy and reduce inflammation. And additionally, when you exercise and you reduce your stress, they play a very crucial and essential role in managing chronic inflammation, as well as consulting with your healthcare professionals. Reduce your stress, exercise, but also check with your healthcare professional to find out about anti-inflammatory medication to help you reduce inflammation. Because, when you recognize symptoms and you make healthy lifestyle choices, it helps take care of things like managing chronic inflammation and reducing adverse effects on your health and your overall quality of life as we all age. So, eat healthy and exercise and find ways to reduce stress, or Zen, and age gracefully. Age gracefully, y'all! Remember, our topic for this month is sickle cell. Did you know that sickle cell disease, SCD, is a chronic disease in which the red blood cells in your body are shaped like a sickle, like the letter C? Well, these red blood cells carry oxygen throughout our bodies. In a healthy person, they are round and flexible, flowing easily through the blood or easily in the blood. But if someone has sickle cell disease, their red blood cells become stiff and can block blood flow, causing pain, infections, and sometimes even organ damage and strokes. That sounds like a challenging condition to deal with. It is. Let's talk about who is most commonly affected by SCD, sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease is most common among Blacks and Hispanic communities in the United States. It affects about 1 in 500 Black births and about 1 in 36,000 Hispanic births. So Blacks are at an increased risk of getting sickle cell disease. It's also prevalent among people with family ties to various regions like Africa, the Caribbean, Greece, India, Italy, Malta, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, South and Central America. It's important for us to raise awareness about this. Let's talk about how sickle cell disease is inherited. It is inherited, which means it's passed from parents to children and is passed through genes. It occurs when a child inherits a gene change for SCD from both parents. If they inherit the gene change from one parent, they have sickle cell trait, making them a carrier but not having sickle cell disease. That's crucial to know. So what are the common types of sickle cell disease? There are different types, but the most common ones include sickle cell anemia or hemoglobin SS, hemoglobin SC, hemoglobin S beta. There are so many more, and each type is caused by a specific gene changes from parents. And sickle cell disease can lead to several health problems, including acute chest syndrome, anemia, hand-foot syndrome, infections like pneumonia and meningitis, pain strokes, painful episodes, strokes, and even vision problems. It's a complex condition with various changes, but early diagnosis and proper care make a significant difference in managing it. So, let me take this moment to welcome our special guest today. And did I mention? He's my cousin, Anthony McPhee. At the age of 1.5, Anthony was diagnosed with sickle cell disease, and his mother was actually told that he would not live to the age of 20. But Satan is a liar. Anthony's unwavering dedication to raising awareness about sickle cell, advocating for better treatment, and providing hope to those facing similar struggles is nothing short of inspirational. And today, and for the next 3 weeks, we have the distinct pleasure of hearing from Anthony, a shining symbol of optimism and a living example of how one can thrive in the face of adversity and thrive in the faith of Jesus Christ. His testimony and his journey is based on his strong faith and belief in Jesus Christ. At the age of 54, Anthony provides hope to thousands around the world, and we are here to learn from his experiences and insights. Please join me in welcoming and extending a heartfelt welcome to Anthony McPhee, my guest for today. Thank you for joining us today, Anthony. We can't wait to hear your story. So we have as our guest this week, Anthony McPhee. Guys, I told you, his story is going to, be a tearjerker. So watch the entire month because it's really important. And as I mentioned, we are talking about sickle cell anemia. So this week, we're going to talk to Anthony about diagnosis. Because remember, everyone, you can be diagnosed with sickle cell anemia from birth. We're going to hear Anthony's story, and it is surely going to make you see things differently and appreciate life. And we hope that it's going to make a difference in the life of one person. We're just trying to help one person out there, and we hope that one person is you. So, Anthony, welcome to our aging puzzle. We appreciate you so much. Thank you in advance for sharing your story. So tell us, we know a little bit about sickle cell. Can you tell us about sickle cell anemia? And also tell us how you were diagnosed, when you were diagnosed, and gosh, how did your family respond to your diagnosis? Let's talk about that. Tell us all about that.
Well, first of all, this is my cousin, by the way. Said
Yes, y'all, I forgot to tell y'all that. Yes.
As my first cousin, her father and my mom are brothers and sisters growing up on the island. And I tell you, we had a great time growing up. But Colette, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share with you and your viewing audience, what sickle cell is and how dealt with it growing up through the years. I'm 54 years old, and thank you, Jesus. God has been so faithful to me. So you mentioned about, when I was diagnosed with it. So, I could, the story that I was told is that I was crying, really when my mother had 4 kids. I'm the third. And when she had me, I was about 1.5, 2 years old. And I mean, I was crying out of the wazoo. And she said, "Why is this baby crying all the time?" She said, with her first child, wasn't crying, second child, wasn't crying, but this baby is crying, so something is, not right. And then I would be swollen up.
Wow.
So anyway, she took me. I don't know if you remember. Some of you might be out there at the Hard Decker Clinic. It was a clinic on East Street. Right.
Okay, cousin, tell them this is in Nassau, Bahamas. So if you're in the Bahamas, he's talking about the clinic in Bahamas. What clinic is that, cousin?
It was called the Hard Decker Clinic, and there was a nice doctor there, nice lady from England. I tell you, thank God she was she was sort of a medical missionary. She came over, And anyway, so long story short, my mom took me to the clinic, and then she took me to the hospital, and she was trying to figure out why I was crying so
Mm-hmm.
much. And then the doctors accused my mom of beating the child.
Wow.
Yeah, and then say, why would I beat my child? This is my this is my child.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they did some tests, and they now keep in mind this was back in 1969, right? I was born 1969, 1970, 1971. So she took me there, and with the technology they had back then, they diagnosed me with having sickle cell at that early stage.
Okay.
And obviously, I had it before, but that's when she first found out that I was diagnosed with sickle cell.
So you were what, 1.5, 2 years
Yeah, I was
old?
about 1.5, 2 years old. That's what
Okay.
my mom told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they told your mom that you had sickle cell, how did your mom respond to this? What did she tell you? How did she feel? How did the family respond to this, and what did
Well,
it mean?
the thing about it is there was not much, literature on sickle cell, and no, at the time, keep in mind it was really back in the day, although it was a black disease, primarily African American, and some Latinos have it as well. Not a lot of people knew about it and how to sort of treat it, and what type of effects and side effects it has. So um, I recall my mom said I had to start taking some pills,
Okay.
and they were folic acid, and that was the only type of pills I was able to take. And then she said I had to drink a lot of water. And later I came to find out, well, let me explain to you what sickle cell, for those of you who are viewing or who might not know of sickle cell, or you just heard of it. Sickle cell is a blood disorder, um, wherein that the red blood cells, the body the blood is made up of red blood cells and white blood cells, and the red blood cells carry oxygen to the various parts of the body. Well, the word sickle comes from the word, well, sickle as a fork when they used to cut down trees or trim trees like that. So it was a sickle shape. So these
Okay.
red blood cells, uh, when they are formed or they're produced in the blood marrow, they form into a sickle shape, and not like a donut shape. A normal red blood cell is it should be a donut shape. So when it passed through the capillaries, some people call it capillaries. I like to say capillaries. But when it passed through those small vessels in the body, they get to clog up. And when they clog up, they stop, first of all, oxygen getting to the various parts of the body, the organs, and then they stop the flow. And if you stop the flow, you're going to have pain. So typically, one who has sickle cell would have pains in their joint. And I'm not just talking about taking Advil type of pain. I'm talking life-threatening pain. I'm talking pain unimaginable. Pain, the kind of pain where you need narcotics to drug you so you could deal with it.
Right.
And I want to talk about that maybe a little later, the type of
Absolutely.
pain that we have. And don't wait, please wait for the last episode, because I'm telling you, I found a revelation. I got a revelation. I'm going to be sharing that at the last episode.
Absolutely. So, Anthony is sharing with us this week the diagnosis, how they found out, and how his family responded to his diagnosis. But remember, Anthony is going to be with us every week for the next 4 weeks. And you want to join us every week because Anthony's going to share his story and he's going to share pain, treatment, revelations, affirmations, and everything in between so we can help one person out there. Because Anthony's not the only one out there that is experiencing this. He's not the only one out there that has sickle cell. If you have sickle cell, you want to watch this show. Maybe you don't. That's okay. You want to watch because you want to learn. You may have a family member or a friend, but stay tuned and keep watching with us because this show about sickle cell anemia is going to help someone out there. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help someone out there. So, Anthony, 1.5, 2 years old, you found out you have, your mom finds out that you have
Mhm.
sickle cell. She was not beating you, right?
No, she was not.
And I know my Auntie Sibylline. She is the nicest, kindest person. She can't hurt an ant. She cannot hurt a flea. She cannot hurt anyone. She's mild mannered, sweetheart. So to even suggest that to Auntie Sibylline was really just like, you obviously don't know
Yeah,
this mom.
yeah.
So she found out about it. Your family's found out about it. Now what? What we now Anthony is year and a half. He's a toddler. You're a toddler. What does that mean? Like you're diagnosed with this now. Can you play? Can you go and
Mhm.
have fun with your friends? Do you have to stay in the house? Really, what does that mean, y'all?
So, you don't understand when you're 1.5, 2 years old, So when my first, I noticed something was different with me because I remember going to, there's a school in the Bahamas, it's called Columbus Primary, and my mom and dad, they took me there. I was, well, I was, my first school was St. Thomas More, and I was really sickly. So I was in the hospital most of that, my first and second year
Mm.
of my schooling. So they said, why are you spending all this money on private school when the boy is not learning anything?
Wow.
He's in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being in the hospital as a child, a baby, 3, 4. I spent many years, many days, months in the hospital, and they had wards there, and it was just a row of cribs, and all the babies would be crying, and I tell you, I remember.
Remember
I
that?
mean, I tell you, I'm telling you, yes, I remember my mother bringing me books that I could read, and she would read,
Wow.
she would read to me, man. That was, it's just a touching moment. It
Yeah.
was just a touching moment. And I'm telling you, I cried because they had to, they couldn't stay there. So when, the adults left, everybody was crying.
Oh
I mean, it was
gosh.
kids who was dealing with all kind of different things. I'm crying, the kids on the side of me crying. I had kids who
Wow.
didn't have any legs, so it was a whole ward
Wow.
of
Young
young
kids
kids.
that had something.
Elementary, yeah, 3, 4 had dealing with something, and boy, I tell you,
Those
you
that was
brought that
stuff.
memory out.
That's what this is
I'm
about.
telling
You
you,
know, you can hear the emotion in
mm,
Anthony's voice, and you can hear as he's telling a story how emotional and how difficult it was. But as Anthony mentioned, he is 54 and he was diagnosed at a year and a half. He's 54 years old and he's here. I'm in his house, in his living room right now, and he is alive. Praise God. I want to spend a little bit of time because sometimes you don't know, people don't know what symptoms and what that really means. Let's talk about, the pain. You talk about pain, you talk about symptoms.
oh my goodness, yeah,
Let's talk about that. What are some of the symptoms? Like why did your mom even take you? She heard, you remember you said
yeah.
you were crying. What are some of the symptoms that
So when
that
I
you
when I
feel?
first learned when I first learned I had something wrong with me, um, I think I was just playing basketball. I was like maybe in grade 5 or 4 or something like that.
Mm,
Kids always be playing basketball and they're running up and down. So I was playing basketball with a group of my friends, just in the play court there, and I just had having shortness of breath, and I had a severe pain in my chest. Oh my goodness.
wow.
I've never felt a pain like that. I felt it 2 times, but that was the first time. And I can tell you about another time when I experienced that. But I had shortness of breath and I had severe pain in my chest. And then I had severe pain in my back and then in my joints. And then when I went home, I could not, I just went in bed. And the following day, I could not move. I was in bed and I could not walk. It was like I was sort of paralyzed for the whole day. So my mother, gave me. So what happened, now that I understand, what happened was, when I was running up and down the court, you know, your blood is pumping. So your blood is pushing blood through your whole body. And guess what? Those sickle cells start to clamp and start to go through those blood vessels and they clog up the joints. So my knees
Wow.
was hurting, my arms was hurting everywhere. I had joints, and my chest was hurting. So I mean, I had severe pain, and the only thing I we could have done was take painkillers. Right? Back then, they didn't know. That was the thing. You drink a lot of water, so the blood will flow or unclog those places where the sickle cell was clumped, and you take folic acid. Folic acid is a form of vitamins that helps the marrow produce perfect red blood cells or better red blood cells, help to generate the bone marrow to generate red blood cells. So that was my first encounter of me understanding, okay, I'm sick and I have this disease. So I said, okay, well, I can't do everything. Now let me tell you, I have a brother. I love him dearly. I have a sister, two sisters. I love them dearly.
Mhm.
And, oh my goodness, I really want to talk about this revelation to the last episode. But, I saw them, we all in the same house,
Yes.
same mother and father. And, nothing is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with them.
Wow.
I can't be out in the sun and lifting boxes and doing all these different things. Because I want to obviously protect myself. But that was that first episode was when I found out, okay, I can't do everything everybody else did. And I remember my mom going to um, taking me to school and speaking with the PE teacher. And she said, listen, don't let my son run up and down because, he had this disease, and blah, blah, blah. And so when kids went out to play PE, I was on the side, and imagine how that feels. It's like you're excluded. You can't participate, What's wrong with you? So I tell you, so I had a
Y'all,
revelation. Don't miss the last session.
y'all, listen, you have to really be here because if you're a kid and you have sickle cell and you can't go out on the field and run around like everyone else, he said, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with him. He has sickle cell. He's just going to have to do things a little different from everyone else. And it was difficult and it was painful. But you see, Anthony is here at 54 years old. He learned to navigate through this. So if you have sickle cell and you are 5, 10, 15, 20, just figure out a different route and come up with a revelation. And you've got to stay with us to hear Anthony's revelation in the following weeks. But remember, he has sisters, he has a brother, but Anthony is a child of God. And we are all made perfectly based on what our Father wants us to be.
That's right.
So remember, whatever you have, sickle cell, anything, you're a child of God.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace it and figure out how to navigate because the Lord gave you this as your gift, and you will learn how to navigate through it just as Anthony did. And it's not going to be easy, but no one said life was easy,
That's
easy,
right.
y'all.
That's
Life is
right.
not easy. So, our aging puzzle is about aging, and doesn't matter what age you are, young, old, seniors, doesn't matter. We all go through something. And so we want to share stories that will inspire you to make a difference and to be the best that you can be. We have my guest this week, Anthony McPhee. He was diagnosed at the age of 1.5, 2 years old with sickle cell anemia. And Anthony's here today to share his story. So, guess what, guys? We are going to see you next
Next
week
week.
to hear more from Anthony. We're going to talk more about his treatment. Remember, we talked about the pain and the symptoms. we're going to talk about the treatment options that he had available to him when he was diagnosed, as well as the progression as he grew and aged. What were his treatment options at the time? So we are going to share that with you next week and the following weeks. So, my dear cousin Anthony, thank you for being with us this week.
Yes.
We will see you next week.
I'm looking forward to it.
I love you, cousin.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us this week, and we will see you next week.
Next week.
We will see you right now to learn healthy tips about living longer and living better. So don't go away, guys. Live longer, live better. And I'm Corlette DeVoe. Wow. What an amazing, amazing story. This is just the first week that you're going to be hearing from my dear cousin Anthony McPhee. An amazing, amazing story and journey that he's been going through. I hope you found this first week an inspiration to you, and I hope that you'll join us every week for this month to hear Anthony's story. Now let's talk about habits to live longer and to live better. We always recommend 4 things. 1, proper diet, balanced nutrition. Consume those well-rounded diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. We say it every week, proper diet. Number 2, regular exercise. Make exercise a habit by scheduling regular workouts and finding physical activities that you enjoy so you can stay motivated, like walking, swimming, dancing, anything that you enjoy. Number 3, reduce your stress. Time management helps you stay organized, manage multiple things, and helps you reduce your stress. So manage your time. 4, socialization. Help others. Volunteer. Go out. Help others because they will make you feel good. You will have the human interaction and you will feel better about making friends and helping others. When you do these things, it's going to help you have a positive overall health and well-being. And this will help you to live longer and live better. So remember, our topic for this month is sickle cell disease. We are thanking our guest for this first week, Anthony McPhee, for his inspiring story. Thank you, Anthony. We'll see you next week, where you're going to hear more from Anthony McPhee, our guest for this month, who is talking about sickle cell disease. If you want to learn more about sickle cell disease, please refer to the website sicklecelldisease.org or March of Dimes Babies. Thank you so much for joining us, and we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Our Aging Puzzle, and also to our sponsor, DG Incorporated, at DG Incorporated. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Thank you again, Anthony McPhee, and we hope to see you all next week. Thank you for joining us. Voila!
I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. DG Incorporated provides coaching services to help entrepreneurs open and grow assisted living facilities and build economic wealth. Visit their website to learn more.